What's up guys, Xavier Wills here for Desktop Bodybuilding and I'm back with another video, and today we're talking about can Keone Pearson win the 2019 Mr Olympia title in the Classic Physique. And it's interesting because this debate has been brought up after him winning the 2019 New York Pro just over the weekend, and when you look at this guy, it's hard to deny that he is a contender because he has just one of the most amazing front double biceps. His rib cage looks perfect when he does that vacuum pose on the front double bicep. And I'm not a big fan of the vacuum pose either. I don't think it definitely should be a mandatory pose or anything like that, but he pulls it off and it just looks next level insane. And he's a guy that's standing by himself. You could say he's Mr. Olympia all day. But I think when we compare him to Breon Ansley, who's the current Classic Physique Mr. Olympia, it becomes a little bit tighter. So let's look at a few of these comparison photos. And I haven't done a lot of these just because they're different lighting, they're on different stages. I've tried to make their height sort of comparable to real life, but I've done what I can. But you can see it's very different lighting. So you see here in front double bicep, Breon still has a fantastic front double bicep, and he's not pulling the vacuum, but you can see his abs here really nicely. And Breon brings some crazy conditioning, and this, while it doesn't really show up his condition that well, I believe this was in the expo hall, as was, which has pretty bad lighting, and Keone Pearson also was at the New York Pro, and that had pretty bad lighting, so sort of comparable. But you can see obviously Breon has a shine finish and then Keone has a matte finish, but you can see here on the biceps, like Breon's probably peak a little bit more, or perhaps it's just that Keone has his hands in a little bit further. In terms of quads, Keone has some really nice round quads, but height-wise, Breon will be taller than him here and will appear bigger overall. Now you look here on the side chest, and you might say Keone has that little bit better shape or something, but when you actually look at the conditioning through the arms there, you can see Breon has him on that. And while it's not Breon's strongest pose, he still has a very nice side leg where you can see that hamstring hangs down perfectly, the glute connects perfectly to that, and the side of the quad looks really, really nice. So you'd have to say Breon would probably most likely win that shot. The back double bicep. Now this one is interesting because I don't know if it's just the way Breon's hitting this, because he's bringing his elbows back maybe a little bit too far towards the judges, and it makes his back not appear as wide as Keone's does. So that would be really interesting to see if he does that same sort of thing, but you can still see the conditioning is there, and he is tighter from the back than Keone Pearson is. And we go to the ab pose. Now, there's 3 photos of Breon doing this pose, and he looked like this, where his abs aren't popping like crazy, but with Keone, the abs aren't his strongest suit. Either when he does that ab pose, he's very smart to do it from the side, the way he does it there, because he does have that separation between the abs right up the middle of the abdominal wall. So not either of their strongest poses, which is kind of funny because you'd consider an ab pose sort of a more aesthetic, sort of classic sort of pose, but they both still look fantastic in this pose, and that's nitpicking at the very top level. But yeah, I think people have perhaps got a little bit too excited on Keone just because we did see him at the Arnold Classic and he placed 4th, which is a damn good placing. Especially I thought he could have been a little bit lower because his conditioning wasn't great and things like that. But Keone does have a fantastic shape. He just is very short, which when you do stand next to a taller guy, and Breon isn't tall either. Like I've stood next to Breon in person and he's only probably 5'7", but Keone's probably 5'5" or something, or 5'4". He's not tall at all. And when you see him on that Arnold Classic stage, while his shape still looked phenomenal on the stage, he just wasn't as tall as these other guys, and he wasn't as crisp and hard. And he said he suffered for this New York show, and I'd say if he was to win the Olympia, he would have to be considerably harder than this New York show. Even though he was in pretty decent condition, he needs to be obviously next level to win that Olympia title off Breon Ansley, who Breon is perhaps the best ambassador for the sport in men's right now, in any of the men's divisions, because he is one of the nicest dudes. Like when I spoke to him in person, he gave me all the time in the world, and he was just chatting to me. He was asking me when I was competing. I was like, it doesn't matter about me. Let's talk about you. So he's a super nice dude, and he comes across so well in interviews too. I heard an interview with Rick Drayson on YouTube, and he's just so humble, so nice, wants to help people out, gives his honest opinion, and he just promotes sport in a really positive way. So he's just such a good ambassador, and his physique is next level as well. So Breon is going to be damn hard to beat at the 2019 Mr. Olympia for anyone. And as we've heard, Chris Bumstead has also had hernia surgery as well. And that was only just recently, like last week. So he's leaving that pretty late for his Olympia prep, but he needed it done, and he got it done, and he got it done by Phil Heath's a surgeon actually. So that will be interesting too, because he's another contender for that Olympia title. So what do you guys think? Keone made some pretty good improvements from the Arnold Classic earlier this year, but will it be enough for him to contend for that Mr. Olympia title? Will he contend for it? Will he win it? We'll have to wait and see for 2019 Mr. Olympia. But anyway, guys, that's it for another video. If you like this content, please subscribe. I really encourage you to do that so I can make this side hustle my main hustle, and I can keep bringing awesome videos to you guys. Well, hopefully what you guys think is awesome. And yeah, please give me a thumbs up, comment in there as well, and also join us on Instagram and also a Facebook group as well, and get involved and have your say. And we'll be putting up polls in the Facebook story and all that sort of stuff. So we'll just have a lot of fun with it, guys. I really enjoyed doing this. But anyway, that's it for another video for Xavier Wills, Desktop Bodybuilding. We are out.